Hey, welcome to Let's Talk Nation. I'm your man, Rod Love. And sitting to my left is none other than the General Attorney, Greg Jackson.
Once again, it's on, Brother Love. You know how we get this thing started, man. How was this weekend for you this past week?
Hey, man, this was Resurrection Sunday, man.
That it was, yeah.
You enjoy yourself, man? You and your family?
Yeah, I did. Got a chance to relax, too. So,
well, relax, man. That's such a thing right now?
It is now, man. Yeah.
Well, Greg, man, it's a lot going on, man. Greg, let me ask you, because I want to dive into one thing in particular, but not before you tell everybody who they're listening to.
So, listen, man, I've been gone for a while, so I got to go slow because I ain't been in practice. So let me do it this way. You are now tuned in to two of the most influential voices in Central Florida on their Monday night podcast, Brother Love and Greg Jackson, the dynamic duo, guaranteed to raise your IQ 15 to 20 points. And on some nights, Brother Love, 20 to 30. So if you want to be a part of tonight's conversation, all you got to do is hit 407-921-6195. Again, that's 407-921-6195. Get your Twitter fingers on here on Facebook, and you can also communicate with us, Brother Love and Greg Jackson, dynamic duo. Brother Love, let's get it on.
See, man, me and Doc, we've been rehearsing that. We've been trying to do that when you've been out on special assignment, and we have not gotten it like that yet.
I had to slow it down. You said I had to slow it down. And then I got to work my way back into it. So by next week, I'll be good.
We haven't gotten the down pack, but that's your brand. But Greg, you know something, man? I don't know if you saw this, but I know your dad more than likely saw it because the rest of the country that didn't see it saw it in instant replay. The UConn basketball girls basketball coach got into a somewhat of a little altercation with was it South Carolina?
Was it Dawn Staley? Is that her name?
Yeah.
That's
who it is.
Yeah.
But do you know what the altercation was all about?
I still don't know what it was about.
So after the game and after the altercation, because you see, man, come on, I've never seen in particular at a women's basketball game where you actually had to push the coaches and separate the coaches. And you know what made it more odd, Greg?
What's that?
Where, you know, and I'm giving respect due to the coaches, but you actually saw the staff have to push the female coach away from the male coach. I mean, it was something, man. I mean, Greg,
so what was it all about?
It was about, the coach said the tradition is that when the game is over,
okay,
both coaches meet halfway to say,
please don't tell me that petty.
It was that petty. He was upset because he waited like a minute or two for. I mean, Greg, you got to listen to this for yourself.
Man, it just sounds like he just was hurt because they lost, man.
No, they won.
UConn didn't beat South Carolina, didn't they?
No, they didn't. No,
that's what I'm saying. He was upset because he lost.
Man, that was. I mean, Greg, I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Well, listen. Dawn Staley, for her own right, I mean, she was a tremendous WNBA player. She has now proven to be a preeminent women's basketball coach. Has done a great job at that program. I mean, UConn is a powerhouse in women's basketball. When I actually was looking at the game, because matter of fact, UConn, the men's team beat was it UNC or Duke? It was like,
I thought it was Duke, wasn't it?
Must have been Duke, yeah. But I mean, UConn has a legit basketball program, and what Dawn Staley did last week was fantastic. But yeah, I didn't know it was that petty, man.
Yeah, it was pretty petty, man. I mean, Greg, come on, man. The players were out there, they did their thing, and then for all of the highlight to be taken away at the end of the game
because of that.
Yeah.
Well, listen, man, if we're gonna talk petty, I mean, you know, if we're gonna talk petty. So I'm trying to figure out, Brother Love, if somebody can help me, what's gonna happen with this Apopka election that's coming up?
Oh man,
I've been watching. I haven't heard a whole lot. You know, this is a quiet, probably the quietest runoff election that I've seen in a long, long time.
And you're right. And you asked the question, what's going to happen, Greg? I don't think anybody knows, but I will say this, man. I will say, man, there's been a great deal of calls that have been going out. I mean, I've been hearing from the pastors and everybody, and this is something that I know what your famous saying is, but folk are asking, where are the black constituents in the Apopka, because they're not going out to vote?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this, because I wanted to stir the pudding.
I know.
I wanted to stir the pudding. I reached out to Nestor through his surrogates, and told him, hey, listen, give me a call if you want to talk. Still ain't heard from him. So I was going to give him a chance.
You're going to give him a chance?
Going to give him a chance. Listen, because I've already made it clear.
You made a position.
I made it
you
clear.
Took a position.
I cannot and I will not support Christine Moore. I've supported her in the past, and in order to keep my support, you have to maintain my trust. In much the same way that Brian Nelson did with me, he kept my trust, and that's why I supported him, year after year, or election cycle after election cycle.
Mm-hmm.
But Christine Moore had my support. She lost it, and she cannot regain that back. And so, with that stated, she's running against somebody. It's not an automatic to the other person because I'm not the lesser of two evils guy.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. It's just not an automatic to the other person.
I'm not an automatic lesser of two evils guy. Talk to me. Let me know what's going on. Let me see if I can get behind you. And if
Yeah, because I just got to say, I've been paying attention, man, and I am just not impressed with him whatsoever. And when
you got to be impressed. He wears nice suits now.
If that's all it takes to be impressed, then
that's all it took for us. People impressed with us because what they say, y'all the best dressed brothers over. That's all it took. But we tricked them into thinking we were two of the most influential voices in Central Florida.
Hey, but we bring outcomes. We bring knowledge. We bring information.
I'm just joking. Listen, y'all are right to believe that we are two of the most influential voices in Central Florida. Y'all are right to believe that. So.
But at the end of the day, Greg, I will say, man, and I gotta say, and not just for this city election, but for elections across the board, I think that Black folk are going to come to a rude awakening that, and I know what you say, Greg, your vote, a person's not
my right to vote is not someone's right to my vote.
To your vote.
Yeah.
And I understand and get that.
I'm gonna put that on the t-shirt. I'm gonna coin that, but I'm not gonna say that anymore. If y'all hear me, I'm not saying it again until I get my t-shirt and my copyright.
Till you get your t-shirt and copyright. But man, I tell you, I think that, you and I, we've heard individuals complain about housing. We've heard people complain about jobs and education, public safety. You can continue to rattle off.
But that's not education is not a city of Apopka commission.
I'm talking about the big picture. I'm not just talking about that city of Apopka election. But
there's somebody here to talk to us about education tonight. I don't want to spill the beans, so I don't want to impugn onto someone else what this person could talk to us about.
You're absolutely right. And you know what? That education is such a valuable, man, and priceless topic that we're going to be talking about tonight. But great, there's a lot going on. But I just want to make sure that I say clear as day that I strongly believe, and I've never seen it like this before, and I've never felt like this before, that I think that Black folk that to believe that their vote doesn't matter, they're going to start really seeing how it impacts their lives, because if you're not at the table, like Reverend King often says, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu, and I don't want to be on anybody's menu.
But here's the other thing too. If I'm gonna continue along my pettiness tonight, I quite honestly have not seen any of the mayoral candidates that are in this runoff election coming to African American community. It's as if neither are interested in what the African American community says. And it's one thing. Listen, it's one thing to tap, leadership or individuals of influence in the African American community who happen to be African American, but it's a whole other thing to actually go to the places where the voters are.
You're right, but
and I haven't seen that yet.
You know what? And you and I didn't plan on going here and spending this much time. But Greg, with that, and I don't touche with you, man, unless I'm really passionate about it.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the other topic, man, that I would bring up in exactly what you just said, and that is, Greg, why would these candidates go to the African American community when they look at past performance, when they look at supervisory election records, when they look at the data, and if the data says your energy can be better spent somewhere else because this population, this community is not responding in the form of going to actually vote?
Hey, listen, I can't disagree with you from the standpoint of, if you look strictly at the numbers,
mm-hmm.
Why would you go?
You're talking about from a moral perspective.
No, from a number standpoint, not from a moral perspective. Right?
Uh-huh.
From a moral perspective, yeah, you should want to go to the places where individuals are who don't necessarily vote for you, but mm-hmm. that may need your leadership and your assistance in getting things done. But the other thing too, that we always seem to have a conversation about and then all of a sudden disappears over the years, is the fact that Apopka is not Apopka. Now, what do I mean by that? If you go past 10th Street,
mm-hmm.
it's an 8th Street, one of the streets, if you get deep into what we call Apopka, that's really Orange County.
Yeah, unincorporated. Yeah,
unincorporated.
Yeah.
It's Apopka, but those individuals who are in those areas aren't actually in the city of Apopka. And so even if you did go into those areas, there's not a whole lot that you could do or promise those people aside from annexation to get them to move. But then why would, individuals in that part of Apopka, and you see I am shying away from North Apopka, South Apopka. You see that, right?
Yeah.
And on the other part, in the other areas of Apopka, that's unincorporated Orange County, unless you're talking annexation, there's not anything that the city of Apopka can do in those areas.
And you're absolutely correct. But then I guess the conversation, Greg, that we're not having right now is proximity. Because if we talk proximity and exactly what you just said, when you look at unincorporated Apopka, well, unincorporated Apopka is less than a mile from City Hall that has no jurisdiction.
That's a true statement. That's a true statement.
So when people think about what it is that they don't have, what services they're not receiving from the city of Apopka, city of Apopka doesn't have a jurisdiction.
That's right.
And so it's easier to say what you're not getting from a city hall that's a mile down the road versus the county hall that, I don't know, Greg, 6 miles, 7 miles.
A good distance.
Yeah.
It's a good distance.
And so the complaints aren't aired off of Rosalind Street. They're aired at City Hall that can do nothing about it.
Right. And that is where I think, and the reason why I'm mentioning this is because that is where I think a lot of the apathy comes from, because people say, well, I went up to Apopka and they didn't do anything for me. Well, that's because you're not
in the jurisdiction that can do
so
something.
Then when people hear that and that kind of filters into the community that is Apopka that can vote, it's as if, well, wait a minute, they don't do anything for Apopka anyways. Yeah. Well, they can't do anything for that particular area in Apopka.
And you know what the magical, I guess, solution to that is from a lot of people is annexation.
Well, I was about to say, come out and be educated on what these things are.
Yeah, but the conversation about annexation, Greg, is simply this. And I mean, people can do the math. And who was the person to talk about the math ain't math? And
I know you're talking about. Yeah, I know you're talking about.
So you look at the city of Apopka's budget, and it's approximately $200 and something million. But then you look at the budget for Orange County government, and you're talking about a budget that's going to pretty soon eclipse $8 billion.
Yeah.
So do you annex into a $200 and something million area that already, from a population standpoint, we got about 65, 70,000 people.
So, brother, I'm going to have to apologize to you because I baited you and you took the bait.
Well, okay.
I baited you.
Go ahead.
You took the bait.
Tell me.
Because this whole conversation by me about Apopka being in Orange County and the fact that Apopka still struggles, although it's in Orange County, is because the person who was the commissioner over the areas that should have been doing
something. Why did I let you do that? Why did I
Christine Moore.
Man, I'm not going to.
So when all of these people are talking about what's not being done for them, what they're missing out on, the person that was lacking and would have failing to do anything in their Apopka, because show me something that's really taking place aside from that. What is it? That business. What is a business across from Wheatley? Talk to me. What is it?
The vocational
center. That my friend was the one that brought that to life. So I don't want to hear anybody else take credit for that. Tell me what else is taking place.
I'm not falling for that bait. We're not fishing right now. we not fishing right now.
Doc, I know you miss me, Doc. I know you miss me, Doc. You ain't got to say that. I'll be up here baiting.
See what he does, Doc?
I'll be up here baiting.
You see what he does, Doc? And this joker don't even like to go fishing.
Because I can't fish. If I could, I would, but I can't even fish, man.
You think you pulled one in the boat just now. But here's what I'm going to say. I mean, and this is one of those items that, iron sharpens iron, but this is one of those areas that you and I could disagree.
You can disagree all you want to. You can disagree.
And still be agreeable.
The proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. Show me something. Show me anything.
Well, I'm not going to go there.
Don't show me no yard signs. Don't show me yard of the month. Don't show me something that is taking place in Lake Jewel, something that's taking place.
I'm glad you made an appearance. Go ahead, Doc.
LJ.
Go ahead, Doc.
Hey, Doc, can I do that?
You're absolutely right about Christine Moore, but if you honest, if you look at where the projects that she's had a hand in, they are predominantly around areas that are not. You can
Man,
literally
you know
see
what?
it's a roadmap.
I'm not gonna
Yeah.
placate to you and my good
It's a
friends sitting in the
roadmap where
studio
she
with me.
puts her focus and her interest in.
Hey,
So I'm not surprised. But the other thing is, it's a little crew that run over there in South Africa and tell people they know what they're doing that are absolutely clueless.
Oblivious. Yeah.
They don't even know how to even approach her.
Yeah.
So if I'm relying on ignorant leadership, then I'm gonna get what I got.
well, I'm gonna
Which is
tell the
nothing.
both of you. I'm gonna tell the both of you.
Because-
both of you are my
because
friends.
they-
Both of you
they
are my
would
friends.
rather-
And what I'm gonna say
they
to both
would-
of you
listen.
is, I am a hope merchant. I am a hope merchant, and it's almost like a pastor that things aren't going well, and
No.
they can't go out there and hold their head down because they're in the business of hope and getting people to get inspired. So I'm not gonna fall for what you're Greg doing.
Brother, listen, I'm gonna let you be a hope merchant. I'm a realist. I'm a realist. And all of this, listen, I say what it is.
Hey, what's next on the punch list? Doc, what's next on the punch list? Greg, you got something else. What else? Because it was a long punch list.
No. So
Yeah, you got it. Hey, you got him. You put the banana in the tailpipe. You got
You like
him.
that up?
So,
But no,
Yeah.
Doc, before you go though, what I wanted to talk about, were y'all watching the historic launch that took place last week with Alderman Stone?
Oh yeah.
And but what people don't realize is that crew has actually been together for the past 2 years preparing for this very moment.
Man.
So it's not like they just assembled these people like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, a month ago, a year. They've been working on this mission for 2 years. And now these individuals, I think in the next hour or so, if not in the next, as a matter of fact, I think it's right now.
On the dark side of it.
They are at this moment rotating around the dark side of the moon, something that has not been done for over 50 years.
Yeah. Hey, and you do know that they don't want to refer to it as the dark side of the moon. Hey, Greg, what are they calling it now?
I call it the dark. I don't know what I call it.
They're calling it something else.
Yeah.
I guess the dark side of the moon wasn't popular at all.
I'm not that politically correct.
well, that's a Pink Floyd album.
For Dark Side of the Moon?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of
All
the
right,
biggest albums. I ain't gonna touch on it. Just go Google Iranian Lego videos.
Iranian Lego video?
Iranian Lego videos.
All right. And you say Google that?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, Greg, what else you got, man?
And I don't want to make it.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you.
Go. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know I'm looking it up.
Hey,
Hey.
You know I'm looking it up.
hey, Brother Jackson, what else you got on that punch list tonight?
Aside from what's taking place, with the runoff election in Apopka, something that we have been doing, something that our good friend Brother Hugh Pinto would like to reengage with is the voter engagement, the voter education, getting back in the studio because we have an election coming up. A midterm election is coming up in November, and that midterm election is also going to include some major seats in the city of in Orange County as well.
Okay.
And so people are going to have to start paying attention, listening to, watching what's taking place. We also have a brand new district in Orange County.
Two of them.
Yeah,
seven
two.
and
Is it 2 or 1?
it's 2 because you got district set. Well, it's 2 districts, so 7 and 8.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, 7 and 8.
Yeah, 7 and 8. Okay.
And
So it's some great things that's about to take place, and this thing about the 2 new districts, how they split up those areas in those districts. As a matter of fact, we had a chance to speak to Ms. Shannon Curry 2 weeks ago.
an excellent interview.
Came in and knocked it out. Talked about her role and her position. I am excited about what she brings to the table, and looking forward to her hopefully being successful in that race. But then there's also 8. We haven't spoken to the people in 8, and then we have 2. Remember, 2 is also going to need someone to come in.
Yeah, because
that district.
matter of fact, Greg, aren't there 3 candidates for District 2? We know that for District 7, it's 14 candidates in that race.
If we haven't missed one at this point, because somebody could have jumped in last night. So
Well, interesting enough, and I'm gonna kind of slide into this, but I'm not going all the way. But a couple of things, man, that we need to look at that are equally important. I mean, a lot of times we look at these county commission seats, but one of the things that's very important is the chairman of Orange County Public Schools.
Yeah.
We're going to be having a conversation with a special guest in the studio this evening. But also, Greg, and this is where I defer to you. Man, we have a person that we've known for some time now. She was the chief of staff at the state attorney's office. She comes from a heck of a pedigree. Her father, Supreme Court Justice. Is that
Judge Perry?
Judge Perry.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about none other than Camilla Perry, who's running for a open seat in the circuit.
Yeah. I mean, listen. So there's a lot of things to be paying attention to, and the time to start paying attention to these things, Brother Love, and this is what we've been talking to Let's Talk Nation about, and why Let's Talk Nation is one of the smartest audiences out there, is the time to start talking about these things is not in September, not in August, but now.
Now, you're right.
And now is the time when we're going to start, talking to folks who are looking to lead. Like I said, we start off with Miss Shannon Curry. We're going to be talking to a young man tonight, gentleman tonight, about what he's looking to do, and there are going to be other folks that we're going to be talking to, and allowing them to speak to Let's Talk Nation, and be held accountable for the things that they say that they want to do.
Yeah, absolutely correct. And what we want to do is, once again, is we don't open up our platform to everybody. We also do our homework and look at candidates as well. But I tell you, Ms. Curry had an excellent interview, man. And Greg, oftentimes we say to our audience, where do individuals go when they're running for office? They're well-intended and they don't win.
Yeah.
What happens to them?
Right.
But with Ms. Curry, one of the things we found out is
keep serving.
She's already out there now.
Yeah.
And so,
I mean, the volleyball league or
AAU,
put together, I mean, still serving young people in the community and doing the things that's making a difference and having an impact.
Man, looking forward to some great things. But Greg, man, I think maybe we reached that point where we're ready to take a break.
Yeah, because we don't want to put our guest on the side of the stuff that we're going to talk about when he leaves. Because we don't want to, we don't want to run him off with some of these
You're right.
Some of these conversations.
You're right.
So.
We'll tell you what. Hey, we're going to take a quick break on Let's Talk Nation, and we'll be right back with our special guest.
They break, I fix. Mercedes-Benz, BMWs, Jaguars and Porsche. Joe's Quality Auto Repair. I specialize in European cars. They break, I fix at Joe's European Quality Auto Repair. Located at 1240 State Road 436 in Altamont Springs. They break, I fix. Call me, mention Let's Talk Nation and bring your certified dealership repair quote. And I beat by 30%. Remember, they break, I fix. Call me at Joe's European Quality Auto Repair at 407-409-6040. Again, 407-409-6040. After they break, I fix. Joe's European Quality Auto Repair.
Okay, turn your mic up just a little bit more. There you go.
Look like they
Wrapping up.
yeah.
Yes, in the studio with us. Hey, Mondo, get a hold of Doc. He got us on Zoom. But we have a special guest in the studio with us this evening. And Greg and I don't know if you heard any of the studio conversation.
Little bit.
We have a lot of races that are coming up.
Yeah.
And, man, a lot of people focus on those county commission races and things of nature. But, man, school board races, when you're talking about education, is critically important. And to that end, we have in the studio, see, Greg, I kind of learned from him when I got to get hyped up.
There you go. I like it.
To that end, we have Doc.
Yeah.
Dr. Mike Armbruster. Armbruster in the studio with us tonight with Let's Talk Nation. And you're running for Orange County Public School Chair, correct?
Yes, sir. Sure am.
So I'm going to throw a couple of things out there because I got that this is your third retirement.
Well, if I get elected, it'll be my third retirement. If not, I'll be stuck with my second one that I had before.
Did I get this correct? You a knight?
Well,
UCF
it depends
night.
which way. I'm a UCF Knight, but I'm also an Ocoee High School Knight.
Oh,
so
you a twofer.
yeah. So I like coming up. I'll go for 3 on that too. But yeah, so I'm a UCF Knight, proud Knight, way back in the early '80s, and it's back when they were sand spurs in the parking lot.
Oh,
Man,
wow.
boy. Well, as a matter of disclosure, Attorney Jack, see, Greg, he kind of gives me some toolage to go ahead and put out those disclosures. But I had the opportunity to work with you briefly as, you know, one of my organizations worked with the community, was working with Orange County Public Schools to look at how do we get report card information on those kids that we serve through Orange County Public Schools. And basically what we were trying to do is look at how do we get those report cards so that we can show gains based on tutoring services that we provide, based on mentoring services that we provide. And I got to say to you, I want to thank you because you were very instrumental in just the dialogue and the conversation. And I'm really critical, and I come from government, but I'm really critical on bureaucracies. And I got to just take my hat off to you because you were in there, you rolled your sleeves up and say, let's figure out how to get this done. And I appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, the whole purpose of this is what's best for students. And sometimes you're right. We let things get in the way of what's best for the students. So I appreciate those that step up and try to help them.
So with that, you just kind of opening this up for me and Greg. What do you plan on accomplishing as the school board chair if elected? I mean, the chair if elected.
You know, it's a complicated question, but really it's a very simple question. I have it's going to sound kind of funny, but I have a dream of Orange County, the whole county being the model educational ecosystem in the United States. We have so many amazing things happening. We get in our own way sometimes, but we've got things like what you were talking about, tutoring, different programs, different things, but they're all over the place. So what I hope to do is really lift our head up out of the weeds sometimes that boards can get into, look out at the big picture and begin to have a comprehensive plan that says, hey, this is what we need across the board. We've got all the resources we need. We just got to start marshaling them in and figure out how we're going to put them together and then really focus on it. And it's not about competition. It's not about choice. It's not about that. It's about our students. It's about our children. And I don't really care where a child goes to school. What I care about is can they read and write when they get done.
That's okay.
And so I don't want to spend time fighting on that. I want to spend time unifying on how do we all come together, faith communities, nonprofits, business organizations, all of that to really focus on our students and do the big things. And I think that's where the school board can do it. They can have that authority through policies, through decisions that they make to really begin to drive that. Like those kinds of conversations. Shouldn't have to fight over an organization. And I understand data and protection, and believe me, I've lived it for a long time. But at the same time, the main thing is our kids. And we got to do what we can.
Did he get into our punch sheet? I mean, did you share some?
No, you did.
Here's a question I have because a lot of folks don't know the difference. So explain for Let's Talk Nation audience the difference between and what is the role of the school board chair versus school board members versus the superintendent?
Good question.
That is a great question, and I'll try to answer it the simplest way that I can. Within, again, everything sounds simple till you get into the meat of it, but really the school board chair was designated several years ago, really 2 chairmen ago, so 16 years ago, to be a countywide representative, to be the voice of the board for Orange County. And so we're unique in that. And we also, as a school board chair, get 2 votes because it's an 8-member board now. So if there's a tie 4-4, the chair is the deciding
I didn't know that. Did you know that, Greg?
I didn't know that.
They get the 2 votes, which the chair helps set the agenda for where we're headed and all those kinds of things. Then the board members, they represent their various districts and they speak for their districts and they come in from that point of view. The purpose of the board really is governance and policy and being involved in that aspect. Then we hire a superintendent whose job is to do the day-to-day operations. Their job is to run the schools. What happens sometimes though, because they're elected officials, school board members are easily pulled in to take care of problems that aren't theirs, you know. Instead of being up here sometimes, it's not their fault, it's just human nature. You know, you all know how that works. And all of a sudden they're involved on this teacher in a classroom or how this is being done. And that's really what I would like to focus on is let's keep ourselves up on what our job is, and let the superintendent, and if there's a problem with the superintendent, then we deal with the superintendent. I happen to be, fond of the superintendent, but again, if there's a problem, we're going to do what's best for kids, because ultimately it's what's about the students that matter. So that's where I think there's been some confusion over the years of what their roles are. And again, day-to-day operations, that falls under the superintendent. We've got all kinds of processes in place to make sure that happens. And I think as the chair with the gavel, I have the ability to say, you're going off track. That's not your job. Let's get back on track. And let's get back to, we need to be talking to legislators about how do we get the funding we need for teacher salaries. We need to talk about what are the things you're doing and what is the actual impact we're having. And we need to be unified in that, and then let the day-to-day operations happen.
So Doctor, to Greg.
So right now, if you are listening to these two voices, you see this handsome young man that's sitting between Brother Love and myself. You are looking at Dr. Mike Armbruster, who is a candidate for Orange County School Board Chair. And we're having a fantastic conversation with him. Sorry, Brother Love, I just wanted to give that plug real quick.
And appreciate that, Greg. But you opened up something that I really want you to go into a little bit, Doc. When you talk about the structure of Orange County Public Schools, and I mean, Greg asked a question about the board, but then I did, we do our little research before the show too. You were the deputy superintendent.
Yes.
So what is the structure? You have the superintendent, the deputy superintendent, and then what is the hierarchy right up underneath that?
There's a whole kind of, so in our particular model, the deputy superintendent, my role was primarily the division of learning. So anything that happened in the schools as far as learning, all of that sort of thing, fell under me. We also have several chiefs, chief facilities officer, chief finance officer, chief information officer. So for the purpose that I served was to take care of all the learning that happened in schools. Under me were what we called executive leaders, and they were designed to take over each level. So we had a high school, we had middle school, we had elementary school, we had some special things, exceptional student education, school choice, and a couple others, career and technical education, which is dear to my heart. I believe we worked on a project for that over by Wheatley as well.
You're right.
Together. You're right. And so their goal was for 27 years, we had a system in place that was called learning communities. So we would divide, like the North of Apopka was a learning community with some other schools, the East and all of that. And we kept trying to play with it, and it didn't seem to go real well. So when I came back, the superintendent charged me with looking at a different way. So we redid the whole system. We did a complete reorganization leading to this executive leader model with levels. And not to, I don't want to ruin it, not knock on wood, but for the first time in our school's history, during the age of accountability, the last 28 years or whatever, is the first time that we had no D's or F's in our district.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of that goes to the reorganization, because what we did is without costing more money, we were able to reorganize completely and put the focus where instead of having 30-something schools in a learning community, each group had 12 schools to focus on, and they were able to do it. So I'd like to say it's success. Now it's got to do 2 or 3 years before I can really claim success, but that's the kind of organization that we have. And then under them are principal leaders, and each principal leader has 8 to 12 schools depending on level and what they're doing. And that gives them the chance to focus and support and help those schools at a much closer level than they were previously able to. And so we took 27 years. There's a saying I love, that the light bulb wasn't invented by improving the candle. We had to get rid of the candle and say, let's do it a different way. And so we did it a different way. And the superintendent led that and allowed me to do what I was able to do and work through that. And within 2 years, we made the transition, and it was a major transition, and it was well done, and the results kind of speak for themselves. So not that I'm proud of that, but I'm a little proud of that.
You should be proud of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But listen, I have a question in 2 parts.
Okay.
Only because we have our good friend, Dr. Burns, who joins us to the conversation a bit. We've been hearing a lot about Orange County schools closing because of the competition with charter schools and different things like that. We also know that AI is becoming more and more integrated into schools. What is the plan, or what is going to be done about the competition that's coming from the charter schools, and how to kind of wrap your arms around the AI and what's coming down the pike in the future?
Well, I'll be honest with you. There's like with everything, there's misinformation out there. When you really look at the numbers, the charter schools aren't really the bigger piece of it. What really is we've got declining birth rates across the United States. Kids today are having kids much later than they used to have. We've got affordability. People can't afford to live in Central Florida, and young families especially can't afford to live in Central Florida. So you're losing students to that. They're moving to other districts around us because they can buy a house. They can't buy it in Central Florida. So you do have competition, but honestly, we've got 208,000 students. There's not enough classrooms in the competition to take that much away from us. So there are a variety of factors that are affecting that. Now, do we have to be in the choice issue? Yeah, I believe wholeheartedly. I kind of took OCPS and I changed it from OCPS, Orange County Public Schools, to the one choice people select. And it's not about liking or disliking or agreeing or disagreeing with charter schools and private schools. It's about we ought to be able to make people want to come to us. We should be their first choice. We can complain about others and we can say they don't have this and they don't have to do that. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah. We should be creating schools where people want to come to our schools. So it is difficult because right now we can't afford to have buildings half full. Right. No business would operate that way.
You're right.
Nobody else would operate that. We wouldn't operate that way at home. To just have empty. And so they're tough decisions. But then when you get into those decisions, you got to decide. Do we rezone everybody or do we say, okay, let's close some schools and rezone some? There's a lot that goes into that. It's not an easy conversation. But at the end of the day, when you're paying for 2 principals and you've got 300 kids in this school and 400 kids in that school, and the school will hold 1,000 over here, you really can't justify it. And it feels good, but you can't do it.
Let me say, and Greg, I know you got another question coming after that, but here's something that as the communities continue to hear about schools closing and things of that nature, this is the first time that I heard an intellectual conversation about the business logic of why it's happening. And I think Orange County, and that was going to segue into me asking the question, what makes you a viable candidate? But all that we're hearing is what makes you a viable candidate. But this is the first time that I've heard the intellectual business logic as it relates to the why.
Yeah, I mean, because he's right. Because what I hear and what a lot of folks hear is charter schools, and that's what is affecting the enrollment rates in schools. But then you're right. I mean, by the time my parents was my age, they had 2 grandkids. At my age, I don't have any grandkids. And and you're right that people are pushing off having kids, and then it's more expensive to live in certain areas. So people. So yeah, I mean that is a very interesting observation as to what's taking place. But now my other question, and we'll get to the AI question, but second retirement, what drives you to come back and really want to be a part of this and engage in this at this level?
I don't know. My wife is taking it personal. We've been together married 42 years, been together 47 years. Since we were young 18-year-olds. We started dating, and she thinks, why don't you want to stay retired with me? But it has nothing to do with it. It's more Rocky Balboa. I kind of joke in Rocky 47, whatever one it was. It was a long one.
He was fighting the aliens.
He looks at Polly. He looks at Polly and he said, "I still got something left in the basement." And that's what I feel. I feel like I've been very blessed in my life to have people who have poured a lot into me. To go from where I started as a young man to be deputy superintendent of the 8th largest school district in the United States of America. Didn't happen because I was special. It happened because people believed in me all the way along, and even when I didn't believe in myself. And so I still got enough energy and enough life in me, despite some of the health things I've had in the last 4 years, to give back a little bit more. So for me, it's not about me. It's about those I serve and about giving them the opportunities that other people gave me. And I feel like I can. I feel like the experiences of the last 36 years, really the last 44 years. A lot of people don't know this about me, but I started out at 18 at a golf course, West Orange Country Club. I started out as a cutting hedges, and then I moved up to cart boy, and then I moved up to cart mechanic, and anyway, my last 4 years, I was general manager of this little country club in Winter Garden, Florida. And so I got to understand how business worked. I got to understand how we had a board of directors there, how that worked. And then I went into education, and all of those things have led me to a place where I feel like I'm qualified to do this job, and that I'm ready, and that it would be a shame to waste those experiences when I know that, again, you're making decisions that affect 208,000, whatever the latest number is, students, they need to be important. It needs to be
Right.
taken at that level. It's getting your head up and saying, how can we impact all of these kids so that every kid who enters our schools, and again, whatever schools they're in, walk out of there ready to move into their future. So
Yeah. Hold on.
That's a long answer to a short question.
Let's see. So you know Rod. You know, me and you, we just get chance. So I'm going to talk to you more than Rod tonight.
Okay.
I'm liking this conversation.
Hey guys, we got to check the sound. Check the sound in the control room. In the control room.
that I've worked hard to try to get them to understand what it is, and
Doc, are we good?
they get it. They get it without me, but then give them the opportunities to move forward. And so
Doc,
I
are we
think
good?
that that's an important part of it, because your legacy. I was watching Nick Saban one day, and I used to not really care for Nick Saban because he always looked so grouchy. But then I started listening to what he said, and I was like, wow. But he was talking one day about something, and then they were showing that the four coaches in the last four coaches in the national championship or whatever all coached with him. And I said to my wife that day, I said, that's legacy. What he's done is great for him. You know, like Tom Brady, what he's done for him. But what Nick Saban's legacy is not what he did for himself. It's that he created and made all these people better.
Yeah.
And that's legacy. And that's kind of the model that I've used. Is it's not about me. It's about those who are coming up. So we have some rock stars out there.
Nice.
I don't want to name names because I'm going to make this one mad and that one mad.
That's right.
Some people are going to know who I'm talking about that mowed my yard when he was 10 years old, and that's all right, but I'm not going to name them. But yeah, so I think that's a critical piece of it. And I think that has to be part of the culture of Orange County Public Schools. And again, the school board leads the culture of the schools. And I think that it starts, you know, whether you like it or not, it starts at the top. And the chair is the top of the board, and the board is the top of the school system. And they've got to be focused. And I hope that I can help them focus on the things that they need to do. And maybe it's a dream too far, but I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to go to the 15th round. That's my goal.
Well, let me say this, because I do want you to develop a relationship with that guy to your left over there. But here's something that I immediately have discovered. I know Attorney Jackson's going to talk to me after the show, and Doc Polite. But man, you're a very personable person. I mean, I like the connectivity, which leads me to this next question, and that is, you know, when we talk about leadership and accountability, and Greg got his arms around, because we're always talking about building a bench, but Orange County Public School is a massive system. What specific leadership decisions have you made in the past to prove that you can manage the complexity and the scale of, you said it's the fifth largest?
Eighth largest.
Yeah. So
in the nation.
Yeah.
Well, and again, my career, when I started out as a teacher, I built a brand new program that didn't exist before. When I became an assistant principal, I changed the way we did business in our school. When I became a principal, I got to build Ocoee High School. I was the first principal.
Okay.
I built a school entirely different from any other high school, and we brought in staff, and we hired everybody, and we did everything. And we did things that were different and did a great thing. I moved from there to University High School and finished rebuilding University High School. Then I came back to career and technical education. I was associate superintendent for that. And I took, we would serve at that time about 28,000 students. When I left a few years later, we were serving 60,000
Wow.
students, give or take.
Wow.
And it was because we took the stigma of vocational education and changed it through a simple comparison of saying, you know, there's more than one way to be successful in life, and one isn't better than the other. And in a perfect world, you get them both. And if I got a second, I'm going to share the little story that I used back then. But in the old days, vocational education was considered hamburger, and college was considered steak, right? But in the new model, in the picture we painted, college was still considered steak, but vocational, which is now career and technical education, was considered lobster. And what I wanted and what we pushed hard to get was to have every kid have surf and turf. When they were in high school, they needed to be exposed to both, because you know what? You can be a plumber and go to college, and you can be in college and go be a plumber. The idea is that you're going to find the path that works for you. And what we did for decades was sell one way as the best way and everything else as something else. And people don't realize, but you know, there's language that sometimes shares biases. So when you say to somebody, well, you know, not everybody's going to go to college, we still need plumbers, that's an insult.
Yeah.
Really,
right.
what you should be saying is, hey, man, your kid's going to be a plumber? That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, can you give me a discount because I love him, you know? but we've done that for decades, and that shift is happening. And so I led that shift. And then, as I mentioned before, when I was deputy superintendent, we did a total reorg of 27 years of trying to fix something that was not working. So I think those experiences, each one a little bit bigger, a little bit more than the one before, has prepared me for this time. That's why I feel confident and comfortable that, yeah, I can do this. And I think that I've got a track record of being on the front line, on the battlefield with the people. You know, there's a movie I love, We Were Soldiers, and the guy talks about, you know, I'll be the first to step on the field of battle and I'll be the last to step off. That's the mantra. My dad was 31 years Air Force, and he taught me a lot of those kinds of things. And that's what I think when you talk about leadership, that's important. And being on the battlefield makes you understand what it is to fight the battle.
Did you hear the reference to surf and turf?
Yeah, I did.
I mean,
did.
I'm impressed with that.
But I'm gonna tell you why I like it though, is because, and I apologize, when I was in high school, one of the classes that I enjoyed more than anything else now was shop.
Yep.
I learned how to do woodwork. I learned how to weld. And if college didn't work out for me, I could have gone and become a welder, and I could have done just as well.
You're right.
Yeah,
You're
but
right.
I don't see those classes. Like, what do they do?
Well,
do those things now?
What we don't do shop. We actually put in welding. We
Okay.
allow welding. We have a great dual enrollment program where the kids, say from Apopka High School, get bused into one of our 4 big campuses. We have 5 campuses. One's all the way over to Avalon, where they can spend half a day there learning welding, learning construction, learning nursing. We have medical. We have all of those kinds of things. And they do, and they're proud. So they actually, we have a graduation at the end of the year for our 5 campuses, and there's 1,000 people there in the graduation. And these are kids, now there's adults, we got a lot of adults, but those kids go to their high school graduation, and then they come to the Orange Technical College graduation because they're proud of what they've done there.
Yeah.
And for a lot of these kids, it's the first graduation in their family.
You're right.
To graduate from Orange Technical College is a big
No,
deal.
when you become chair, because my good friend Greg and I, we're listening to some things that we were oblivious to, but when you become the chair, we want you right back in the Let's Talk Nation studio, because a couple of things that I think you have kind of peeled the onion back on, and that is articulating the logic model. When people have seen schools having to close, you make it digestible. The other aspect that I think, now that you mention it, that Orange County Public Schools needs to do is their own marketing campaign in communities as it relates to the surf and turf. Because you're right. Yeah. When a person say, well, not everybody's equipped for college, that is an insult to a lot of people. And the way you framed it, I think people can get their arms around it and embrace and encourage young people to go get those technical skills. And I'll say this, the one last thing that I have, and I'm gonna pass it back to my good friend Greg, but our good friend Mr. Burns, he's been focused on trying to identify red flags. And I know the school system has been doing this. and unfortunately been doing it since we've witnessed tragedies at other schools and stuff. But one of the things Brother Burns does is he has a system. He has, and I don't know if it's AI, Greg. You might
part of it's AI, part of it is empirical data based about how to identify aggression and to get ahead of aggressive behaviors or activities before it actually happens on school campuses. So.
And so I know you guys have a lot going on, but one of the things that Greg and I like to do for individuals, whether you have programs that you're complimenting schools, and you use the word that I really liked earlier, I'm going to take it a little step further. Competition used to be the thing that, everybody would butt heads, but I think the new competition is called collaboration, which I hear you saying. And so Brother Burns is one that really has been knocking on the door of not just Orange County Public Schools, but other school systems. And he just wants the opportunity to get in there so that if what he's bringing to the table is useful, great and fine. If not, but what I want to see is more doors being welcoming to listen to new innovations to protect our kids, but also to continue to push out. Like you said, it's all about the kids.
So no, and you mentioned when people describe me that have worked with me and for me, for lack of a better term, that's what I'm known as a collaborator.
Yeah.
That's my thing. I believe in a table. I believe in getting the right people around the table. And by right, I don't mean people who agree with me. I mean the ones who are impacted by what it is. And we'll sit and we'll knock it out, and we won't worry about what we don't agree on. We'll focus on what the problem is. And some of the best ideas I model in my mind after Abe Lincoln, Team of Rivals. I believe in that model. You got to have everybody there so you can understand everybody's side. And then you come up with the best solutions. And sometimes, believe it or not, the best solution comes from the guy you would think would be the last person would have it, because you don't agree with him on nothing. But if you don't have him at the table, you lose that opportunity. And so I think collaboration is good. I think you've got to listen and hear everything. AI right now is scary for people. Scary in a lot of different ways. But, cell phones, believe it or not, were scary for people. Computers, the internet was scary for people. We can either be scared of it, or we can figure out how do we make the best of it. And so,
that's true.
Safety, security is number one. When you stand as a principal at a school every day and you spend 3.5 hours on duty just being out there making sure the kids are okay, it's a different feeling than when somebody sits somewhere and says, well, we need to do this and we need to do that. When the people are out there in the field doing it, and they are doing it every day, you appreciate safety. And if there's something that can make things better, we certainly want to do it. But then we got to make sure everything, we can't have crazy stuff happen because of AI.
You're right.
But AI is here whether we want it or not.
You're absolutely correct.
They can make me look like 12 years old in like 3 seconds. It's crazy. It's crazy. So it ain't going away.
No, it's not. But listen, we only have a few moments left. If you want to just share with people how they can find out more about your campaign, how they can help you with your campaign, now's that time to talk to Let's Talk Nation.
All right. Well, I'm not going to give you my website. That's too long. But if you look up Mike Armbruster, Orange County Chair, it'll come up. It'll pop up. And I would love you to go on there if I sound like somebody you might be interested in. I'd love to have a donation. I'm in a world that I'm not familiar with politics, and having to ask for money I never had a problem asking for money, because when you're in education, you beg for everybody for your schools. But I've never asked for it for myself. And so this is a new world for me, but I'm okay. I'm going to ask for it here. Please, if you would donate, I'd take anything from $1 up, and we'll see what we can do. I do believe in Orange County Public Schools. I believe in our public school system. I believe that the difference it has made in the lives of hundreds of thousands is unbelievable. I gave my life to it because I believed in it. And again, I hope that hopefully something I said today resonates, and hopefully the most important thing I can get from you isn't your money. It isn't your love. It's your vote when the time comes. So on August 18th, if you don't vote for anybody else, and I know school board is down the list and it's below the judges and everybody gives up when they get to the judges, but go one step further and just color in Mike Armbruster. And even if that's the only one you color in, I'm okay with that. But need your vote more than anything else. So thank y'all for allowing me to come and chat and be a part of this. I really appreciate it.
No,
we appreciate
and
you
thank you.
in,
and Doc, we appreciate you, man. And again, and I don't say this lightly, when you become the chair of Orange County Public Schools, my good friend Greg and I and our executive producer, Doc, we'd love to see you back in this studio, because you brought some things to the table that I think the community hasn't heard in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I appreciate that,
Yeah.
and I'll be glad to come back. It's nice, y'all. Other than the rain outside, it's good. It's good. Y'all can work on that. That'll be all right. So, anyway, thank you so
we're
much.
gonna keep you here while we close out.
Okay.
Brother Jackson, I'm gonna turn the dial to you.
I mean, listen, it's not a whole lot we could talk about. I was going to kind of save this topic when we didn't have Mr. Armbruster in here with us because it is an interesting topic. We're talking about what's taking place over in Iran. Close your ears, you don't want to hear this. And the fact that we had an airman, a colonel, who was shot down out of the air this past week. And thankfully, they were able to find him, to recover him. And so that is some good news. But there's still some things that are taking place. The gas prices are going up. People are freaking out. These are interesting times, which is actually a Chinese curse. May you live in interesting times. And these are interesting times we're living in. But, we are in the greatest country in the world, in my opinion. And I've been all over the place. And I think that we will see and find our way through it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, well, you've heard from my good friend, Attorney Greg Jackson. You heard from our guest in the studio this evening. And Doc, I just, normally I'll go ahead and do my own monologue, but what we heard tonight from you was something that Greg and I are going to look forward to you coming back in the studio so that you can, this is that community outreach. Mm-hmm. And so we welcome it, and I'm not even going to be selfish right now. What I'm going to say is, y'all hear Greg and I mean, we talk about iron sharpening iron. We talk about competition, and we're having competition transferred itself to collaboration. Mm-hmm. And so with all that being said, we want you to tune in to Let's Talk Nation, because what we bring to you is valuable information. And like my good friend, Attorney Jackson always says about bringing that IQ up. Yeah. We got a doctor. We got a PhD in the studio tonight. So if that don't bring it up anyhow, I don't know what else will. So with that,
listen, and I'm going to say this. When you reached out to me and you said, "Hey, Dr. Armbruster wants to come on the show," I was like, I don't know who he is, but let's have a conversation. And I'm glad he's here because we don't get a chance to have these conversations in a vacuum. And Dr. Armbruster, Mike brought up some things that I hadn't thought about, and it makes perfect sense. Like
surf and turf. I like the surf.
I'm gonna put it on the shirt, and I'm gonna have like some little tools on the lobster. Yeah. But I mean, these are great conversations that we need to have, and if you don't know someone, you have to be willing to sit down at the table with them to have these conversations and find out about it. Because I'm very impressed with Dr. Armbruster.
You're right.
And I'm very much looking forward to hearing more about his platform and how to help him out and different things like that. So,
well, look forward to it. And you're going into the realm of being a politician. So I'm gonna see if you can stand up to that. You got 1 minute. I want you to tell folk, what is your thoughts about further engaging parents to be more participatory in their children's education?
So I will tell you, my experience is when parents are engaged, students are more successful. When parents are at school, students are more successful. I'm gonna talk about my mother for a minute, who's in a nursing home. I go visit my mother, she's taken more care of if I don't go than if I don't go visit her. The same thing holds true for schools. If you're present, if you're engaged with, whether you're a band booster, whether you're a PTSA person, whatever it may be, soccer parent, whatever it is, be involved, be engaged. You don't have to agree with everything that the school does, but if you're not engaged with it, then you're missing out. So be engaged, be there, be a part of it. And it's not about being allowed and all of that. It's just about being there. And when you get to see the school, you begin to understand and appreciate why things are done the way they are. Because sometimes you sit in the parking lot and you get frustrated. But then when you're on the other side of the parking lot seeing why it's done, it's like, oh, well, this makes sense now. Now all of a sudden I understand why we're doing this. So yeah, definitely one of the greatest things you can do for your child is somehow be engaged. And it doesn't have to be during the school day. It can be in the evenings. I know a lot of people right now, especially with prices and everything else, are working multiple jobs. But there's still ways for you to be engaged. Be engaged.
Be engaged. Nice. Hey, that election is August 18th. August 18th. Right. Hey, go vote. Hey, Attorney Greg Jackson, you don't have to go home.
But you got to get out of here.
Till next week on Let's Talk Nation. We'll see you then.